department. We had a little technical glitch. I'm going to blame Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. Did you pay the electric bill for this booth?
I think so.
Maybe? Can we check with the accountant?
You can ask Tom Sadeka,
Tom,
one of our board members.
I'll blame Tom. I'm blaming Tom. Tom's the reason we're here. In fact, our broadcast is sponsored by Precision Payroll of America. My buddy, the great Tom Sadeka, broadcasting from the Turning Point USA Teen Student Action Summit here in D.C., all made possible by our friends at Precision Payroll. Learn more, precisionpayroll.com. We were talking to Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, about the slings, the arrows. Got a lot of calls. People want to talk to you about Turning Point and the success you've had. Has the negative stuff and the ugly stuff been discouraging to you? Did you expect how bad it would be? And did it surprise you in terms of its intensity?
It probably happened sooner than I would have expected. But if you're in politics, you have to be willing to take the arrows. And the organization has had a tremendous amount of success. And the left has tried many different tactics, whether it be protesting our events or sending journalists after some of our students. And we as an organization, I believe, have gotten better and better year after year. And
but the viciousness, Charlie. We were just talking to Andrew a moment ago about it.
I mean, let them be vicious.
Let them. I mean,
we'll be happy.
It's like Cory Booker talking about assaulting the president last night on Seth Meyers' show. There's no limit to how vile these guys get. And I often wonder, does that resonate with the American people? It doesn't stick, does it?
I would like to believe that it will backfire, because that's my belief in the country that we live in. I'm disappointed, though, that the left's just viciousness doesn't get called out more, and they're just pure demagoguery, and they're lying, and their vapidness. However, it is evident that we're doing something that, one, is effective, but most importantly, this is not supposed to happen.
Right.
What's happening right here at Turning Point USA's Teenage Student Action Summit, in the regular kind of arc of the political calendar, 1,500 high school kids in the heat of July. Are you kidding me? When has this ever happened before?
Chanting USA, USA,
but
USA.
This is not normal, and that's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
This is because of our team. It's because of our supporters like Tom Sadeka. It's because of people like you. And I have to say, the conservative movement, the people who get it, like you, like Rush, like Sean Hannity, like Dennis Prager, they've embraced this organization and defended us against the attacks. And
let me speak for that.
That's a really important thing.
Let me speak for that group of broadcasters and conservatives like us, and why we support you so vigorously. We need you. We need, this country needs you. You're doing, and I mean this, I'm not trying to blow smoke in your ear. You're doing the Lord's work, because young people are, listen, I'm a parent, four kids. My wife and I raised 4 boys. They want direction. They want somebody to guide them to do the right thing. And that's true in the political arena as well. These kids, all they are bombarded with is the left and the culture and the violence and the gore and the awfulness. And so when I see these kids, and I walked through here today, and they were very kind to bring me through the line because I wouldn't have made the broadcast. These kids are so genuinely excited.
And they're happy.
They're happy. They're not happy. They're ecstatic.
Yeah, and they're filled with joy at such a young age.
They are,
which is a distinction between the right and the left. I mean, the left, they're deeply unhappy people.
They're angry and unhappy.
How could you be happy and also want to deconstruct our country?
It's at the same time. I mean, you could not do this with a happy heart. You could not hate this country and tear it down. And frankly, Charlie Kirk, let's look at what the president has brilliantly accomplished in branding the Democrat Party with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar. The squad. I mean, my listeners call them the 4 horsewomen of the apocalypse. And in a way, it fits, because they are so dreadfully unhappy and angry. Did you see the video that went viral of Rashida Tlaib at a Trump rally?
Screaming
and being dragged out by the Secret Service?
That's the face of the American left.
That's today's American left.
Yes.
And here's the face of America's right in here. We can hear him cheering in the background.
It's hard to. We have soundproof headphones, and they're still so loud.
They're in the next room over.
But I'll tell you that I remain optimistic, because there is so much truth out there that is not being covered by the media.
Right.
And this is such an important point. This
Yeah.
gives me hope, and I'm on the front lines.
You're in the middle of it.
I'm in the thick of it. I'm in the trenches fighting this kind of campus warfare hourly and daily, and still I get fired up. And I look through this audience, all 50 states represented, average attendee age 16, extraordinary. And I think more than anything else, we're going to take the left by surprise again. And I even had journalists stopping me from very left-wing outlets, and they're kind of like, so how does this all happen? Like,
Right.
acting as if there's like a conspiracy behind this, as
Right.
if I bust them all in from, I don't know, some like youth convention,
Youth camp.
like youth camp.
Well, they think they're all Hitler Youth anyway. I mean, let's
Oh.
face it. I mean, they'll use that imagery all the time.
And
I mean, look at the Trump rally last week.
I-
They said it was like a Klan rally.
I would like to believe that they learned their lesson after Covington, that they will cover this more fairly than they would have a year ago.
Well, speaking of Covington, we have a caller who wants to talk to you about Covington. I know you got about 2 more minutes
Yes.
with us. Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, with us here at the Mike Gallagher Show. Our broadcast booth here at the Marriott Marquis in downtown Washington, D.C. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us. Say hi to Charlie Kirk.
Hi, Charlie. Yeah, talking about Covington, I always wondered if a group like yours has ever reached out to the kids from Covington, because it still breaks my heart to this day how he was just abused by the media and misunderstood. A kid at that age who had the courage to stand up for his conviction seems like perfect fit for your group. And I feel like he deserves some support from some strong people like you.
Charlie?
Yeah, I've talked to Nick. I believe he wanted to be here, but he has pending litigation against all these media firms, and I actually think it's the right thing. He didn't come and just kind of playing a de-emphasized role until he might win some major lawsuits. Just so that your listeners are aware.
I've had legal analysts say he's got a lot of solid ground.
And he's a minor too.
Right.
That's the other thing.
You're right.
The stuff they wrote was libelous. It was totally
Awful.
libelous.
Nick
and
Sandman.
That's right, Nick Sandman from Kentucky, Covington High School. And I would not be surprised if he gets tens of millions of dollars as a
This
settlement.
was the young man who was standing there. He didn't
Did
do
nothing
anything,
wrong.
did nothing, just stood
While
there
some lunatic is banging a drum in
his face. And he didn't. And then they doxed him. They went after him.
Not-
They went after this kid.
And mind you, this lunatic banging the drum has disrupted things his entire life. He disrupted a church service, I
Right.
think, the next day
He's
or
an
2 days
activist,
after.
professional agitator.
Yeah, but
Well-
that's the image the left wanted to paint.
But see, but here's the difference, and this is, I'm glad you pointed this out. Instead of rolling over, he got legal representation.
I know.
Good legal
Few conservatives
representation.
do this.
Very few conservatives do this. It's almost the image of these poor police officers we saw doused with buckets of water
That's
in New
right.
York City. They're just walking away. But this kid's fighting back, and he's doing it the right way, doing it in the arena. I know you got to leave us, Charlie. How can our listeners help Turning
Sure.
Point USA?
Thank you for asking. They can go to tpusa.com. They can help any way that they are able to pitch in money or have their kids get involved or tell people about our cause. And, in about an hour from right now, the President of the United States is going to be addressing the largest ever teenage conservative audience ever assembled. And only in America is that story possible.
And this sounds schmaltzy, and I got to say it anyway. You did this.
No, I did not.
Charlie, yes, you did.
I didn't
You did
build
this.
this.
You founded this,
No.
or yes, you did. You built this.
No.
You didn't build this. Okay.
It takes a village.
It takes a lot of villages. Turning Point USA's
Thank you so
founder.
much,
Thanks,
Mike.
Charlie. The great
Appreciate it.
Charlie
Thanks.
Kirk. An incredible event, and we're so proud to be here. And I'm glad you're with us as well. We're glad we could bring the broadcast to you all over the country. 800-655-Mike, our toll-free number. Let's go right back to it. Let's talk to Nick here about the violence and the threats of the left as we continue. One open phone line. Great gathering of young people, teenagers, almost 2,000 kids from all over the country gathering. Hey, come here, Bert. Holy cow, we got Bernie Carrick. All the stars are here. Come on in and say hi, because your timing is, and this is what Radio Row is like. The great Bernard Carrick from the city of New York, who's stopping by fresh off of his appearance last night on Fox News. They all blur together. I think was it Ingram or Hannity? It was Ingram, and you were magnificent.
Thank you.
Bernie Carrick is here, and I'm so glad that, first of all, to see all these young people. I was just talking to Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, and I used the image of these police officers doused with water that I know infuriated you as well as it did the rest of us who support law enforcement all over the country. But Bernie, there's a common denominator here. The left is vilifying police. When they go after Border Patrol agents and call them Nazis, when they attack ICE, that's law enforcement. And law enforcement in America, and you know it better than anybody, is under siege right now.
It's basically the Democratic leadership around the country. It's mayors, it's governors, it's legislators, it's people that's promoting this leftist ideology, uh, disrespect toward police. You have members of the House, Congress, Senate calling for the end of ICE, the end of basically the people that protect us, that protect the borders. Um, and I just want to throw a shout out to Charlie Kirk and the people at Turning Point that's doing this conference. I'm here with my daughter Angelina,
Hi, Angela.
beautiful, who is, you know, uh, we have to get more young people involved. We have to get them to understand what's going on in the country. I think we're at a tipping point. We're at a turning point where you know, the liberals are in this push for a socialist movement so hard that we don't really pay attention and address it. It's going to have a long-term impact that we're going to have a hard time bouncing back from.
Bernard Kerik is with us, of course, the former New York City Police Commissioner. He was New York City's Correction Department Commissioner, and of course, very well respected throughout the Trump administration, and of course, law enforcement all over the country. To me, Bernie, there's a parallel to watch the lack of respect for law enforcement that we're seeing around the country. There's this awful video of these buckets of water being thrown on these officers, and the right and the left battles we're seeing right now.
But you know what? Where's the mayor? Where's the New York City mayor?
Yeah.
Where is you know, where's the governor of New York?
Right.
Why aren't they calling the people out that did this?
Right.
You know, the people that did this. Somebody said to me last night, "Well, what could they do? What could they do? Disorderly conduct, harassment,
Right.
obstruction. There's a number of things
Assault?
they could have
Is there
done.
assault?
You know, the problem is you also now have district attorneys around the country that, you know, they're not pro police.
No.
They're not supporting the police that go out there and put their lives on the line on a daily basis. And when you don't have that, you're going to have communities where they go out and bash the police and do things like we've seen. Where's the mother and fathers, though? Who's watching a video like that and thinking that's okay?
Yeah, my
that
kid did that.
Your teenager or your young adult went out and did this. Because if it was my son, he'd get it. You know, he'd have to
he wouldn't
deal
see
with
the
me
light
when
of
he got
day.
home.
He'd
Right,
have to deal with that. In about an hour, the President of the United States is going to speak to this group of excited kids. Bernie, every rally I went to with the President in the campaign of 2016, I watched him go out of his way to thank law enforcement. He would go over always, every single stop, and it was spontaneous and it was real.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you a story that a lot of people don't know. In the aftermath of September 11th, when there was mass chaos downtown and we had thousands of first responders, Donald Trump wasn't the president. But Donald Trump came down to ground zero numerous times, alone, no cameras, no press, no nothing, walked through basically the hell of debris that was down there just to show his support and inspire and motivate the people that were down there. He did this constantly. I knew long before he was president, and I've been friends with him for many, many years. I've known long before he was president that he was pro-military and pro-law enforcement. But I don't think we've ever had a president, ever. And I like the Bushes, Ronald Reagan. I just don't think we've ever had a president that has been so pro-law enforcement and pro-military as we do today in this president.
You're right. You're totally right. And it's always great to see you in person. Great to see your work on Fox News.
Sir.
We need your voice more than ever, Commissioner. Thank you.
Keep it up, buddy.
Joe Piscopo sends his love from New York, and Frankie Five Boroughs, they're all sending their best. You better believe it. Thanks, Commissioner.